everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cannabis Tech Talks, brought to you by PolyScience and Summit Research. We are actually here at MJ Biz. We are going to be talking to a whole bunch of newsmakers, decision makers, big industry influencers, and we're very excited to bring you all this great content. So we hope you'll enjoy this one. You are chopping it up with Chuck. I am the editor-in-chief of Cannabis and Tech today, and we are excited to introduce our new guest, our first guest here at MJ Biz. Her name is Sarah Lee Gossett Parrish, and she is from Oklahoma. And wait until you hear about everything that she knows about law, and she has quite a list of accomplishments that if I read them all, we would be here until Friday. So let me turn it over to Sarah Lee Gossett Parrish so that she can tell us a little bit about her background. Hello, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Chuck. It's great to be here with you today.
Awesome to have you here.
I'm an attorney, as you said, in Oklahoma, third generation. Before I got into the cannabis industry, I was a litigator for about, 30 years. And I did a lot of insurance coverage work for national property and casualty insurance companies, and that serves me well now in our industry. And when we passed State Question 788 in the summer of 2018, I got into the cannabis space, and I've never really looked back. I love it, and I've been voted the top cannabis business law firm in the state of Oklahoma 3 years and counting now by the Journal Records Reader's Choice Awards. And was a 2019 Cannabis Trailblazer, National Law Journal. They only choose 30, and I was the only one from Oklahoma and really our area of the country. So I felt very blessed.
Wow.
And, it's been a really fun experience so far.
So what made you get into cannabis?
You know, I really have always been passionate about the healing power of the plant. And I've had family and friends who could have been helped by the medicinal value. I also in Oklahoma have watched the opioid crisis. We've had a horrible time with it. And
it was really bad in Oklahoma, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah. As I'm sure you know, cannabis, medical marijuana, that's what we call it in Oklahoma, what we have right now, can really help people get off of opioids. And it addresses a lot of the same conditions, and it's so much better and not addictive. I mean, I'm sure that's debatable for some people, but you know, so.
And isn't it weird that was always here all along? You know, that cannabis it's always been here. It's just been stigmatized. It's just been, people go to jail for it and everything like that. And the plant was here all along.
Yes, it was. And, they've found residue in a lot of the ancient temples in Israel and in Egypt, and it's been around for a very long time.
Yeah. And so being one of the top lawyers in Oklahoma and being someone who is so recognized, what is it that you're seeing that is like trends in the space right now? Like what are you really noticing? Because this industry does move fast. 1 year at MJ Biz, this is the topic, and the next year this is the beverages was really big 1 year, and now it's live rosin, and every year there's something. What are you noticing now big from the legal standpoint?
From the legal standpoint, I think everyone's talking about in Oklahoma, are we going to go adult use or rec in March? And there was kind of a debacle. It should have been on the November ballot, and frankly, I think it was a political move that it was not. And then our then governor, who was reelected, decided he better get it on the ballot, and he set it for special election in March.
Is he pro-cannabis? Or is he begrudgingly pro-cannabis?
I would say the latter. I would definitely say the latter. But in any event, it'll be interesting to see. Frankly, I hope it passes, of course. I think it would be good for my clients and good for Oklahomans and for the industry at large. But we'll have to see. Everyone thought initially that Arkansas would do that. And then there was a huge religious lobby that came out against it.
Really?
And it failed. Oh, yeah.
Really?
So I hope that does not happen in Oklahoma, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. And I think also the market's shaking out. We're having a lot of businesses that were doing all right, little mom and pops, and now that the prices have gone down, it's much more difficult for them.
Yeah.
So.
So are you seeing that in Oklahoma? Like really, as the market matures, it's kind of thinning the herd. Plus, you've got, outside economic things happening. Obviously there's inflation. There's, like you said, the prices are dropping and stuff. So it is kind of almost thinning the herd, isn't it?
It is. And it's taken a while for Oklahoma to get there, but we're finally getting there.
Yeah.
And we really are a free market
Uh-huh.
kind of place when it comes to the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
And when you have that capitalism at work, you
Yeah.
know that some businesses are not going to make it, and it's tough and it's sad, but that's how it is. And I know we kind of have been a national aberration and maybe joke about a dispensary on every corner because we don't have limits on licenses,
Yeah.
although we're under a 2-year moratorium now.
Yeah.
But you can buy existing licenses, so there's still hope. But in any event...
What do you think one of those
yeah.
licenses costs?
Well, it varies, and the price is going to start going up, I think, as we get farther into the
You think you
2-year
get one for like
period.
50,000?
I think so.
Yeah. Wow.
And occasionally a little bit less, depending on who the seller is and what their circumstances are.
Yeah.
But again, in this moratorium, I think the price is going to escalate probably astronomically in the next year or so.
Yeah, and I've been to Oklahoma. I went to Cannabis, Oklahoma, got to really talk to a lot of the people there. And Oklahoma is a very proud, very unique state. Like every state has its culture and they have their roots and tradition and everything like that. What do you think makes Oklahoma so special?
I agree with you. And I spoke at CannaCon 1 and 2 back in the day. I say back in the day when our industry was so young. We are the Wild Wild West.
Yes.
I've said it from the beginning, and it's very true. And I do think it's hard to pigeonhole Oklahomans.
Uh-huh.
We're a red state, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And yet we passed 788 for medicinal marijuana. And so I think in many respects, we have a lot of different, I don't want to use the term conflicting positions, but I think people there really enjoy our freedoms. We're a big Second Amendment sanctuary state.
Yeah.
But we also want people to have the freedom to use cannabis.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and yet you see the conservatism. We were also one of those states that had a trigger abortion law that our legislators had passed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
For all of the females, and
But you're right. A purple state. I mean, I'm in a purple state. You're in a red state. I'm in
Yeah.
a purple state.
Yes.
And it does create kind of that delicate balance. I'm in Colorado. We like our
Sure.
guns. We like the outdoors. We like our freedom. But we also, we like cannabis, and we have public transportation. So it
Yes.
seems like each state is an interesting little incubator for the cannabis industry. And it's interesting to kind of pull back and take a look at how each state is thriving, how they're going through some struggles and things like that. And it's almost like a bunch of little experiments around the country.
Yes, and I have to say, initially, many of my clients were little mom and pops
Yes.
who had personal stories
Yeah.
that brought them to the industry.
Mhm.
And one of them, I love to tell this story.
Yeah.
Put in a dispensary in a small town where they grew up, and their first patients through the line were the mom/female wife's grandparents in that town, and they had all been touched by cancer and knew that the medicinal value of marijuana could have helped and easing symptoms and things. But I love those kinds of stories.
I do too, and I feel like this is the one industry. You think of other burgeoning industries right now. You think of crypto, or you think of blockchain, or you think of other things that are kind of coming up right now. The cannabis industry, to me, like you first started saying about the healing of the plant, and there's just something different about cannabis. Obviously, you've got to make money, if you're running a business, and
Sure.
obviously, it makes dollars and cents, but. Isn't it unique that cannabis is the one thing that when you talk to someone about it, their eyes light up, especially if they know someone that it's helped, a grandparent, a brother, a kid that's having
right.
seizures that all of a sudden, cannabis oil can fix. It's just such a unique, emotionally engaged, industry.
Yes.
And I just think that
Yes.
it makes it totally unique.
Oh, I do too. And I represent businesses in every aspect of, of the industry. But my cultivators, especially those who are actually the head growers, are really personally involved and invested in the plant. And I love to see that. It's almost like a love affair with the plant. And it is very unique. And I think it makes our industry
Do you think that's good?
different. Yes, I do. I love that about it.
Because they care.
Yes, they do care.
They're emotionally
they feel
engaged.
strongly about it.
Yeah.
They're emotionally engaged and invested. Yes. Very passionate about it.
So what are people coming to you? Like, what are their legal needs? Right? Like, what is the big legal need in cannabis for the most part? Or what are a couple of them?
Well, and I'm kind of your one-stop shop.
Yeah.
People come to me at all stages of the process. But many come from the inception. They want to get into the business. So we start talking about what kind of business entity, who are your business associates, how are you going to split up the costs? Are you, the business entity selection, and then I go through the licensing and permitting processes with them and keep them compliant. I do compliance, a lot of ad law things. I was a litigator, I think I said this earlier, for 3 decades. And so, you get into those kinds of aspects. But now my goal is really to keep people out of court. And I'm a certified civil mediator. And I really try to encourage my clients to reduce everything to writing. So I do a lot of
Anybody who's ever had a mediator, we really appreciate you because you save us a lot of money with lawyers.
Someone will get really ticked off. We need to sue their... I'm saying, maybe not. Let's think about this. Here's the disputed amount. Here's what the retainer will be, and here's what your legal fees will be, and that's assuming we don't go to trial. So
expensive.
It is. But I really take care of all of that, the corporate business, the licensing, the compliance, the real estate, if you're purchasing or leasing property, things of that nature. So really, I should be able to take care of everything.
That's good. That's good. Do some people go in the business without having any kind of legal representation or talking to lawyers? And do you recommend that?
I really recommend against it. Yes, they do. And I usually receive a call from them about 12 to 18 months in. And it's just a nightmare for them.
It's probably one of those things you should take care of on the front end, and it'll save you money on the back end.
So true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So what do you think is next in Oklahoma? And what are you thinking? Is the big thing, rec? And what do you think that time frame looks like? What's next down the pike? Because things are happening quickly.
Well, they are. And I do think the next big thing will be rec, assuming it passes in March. And I think that will make the industry explode again. It'll be really interesting to see what transpires if we pass that. And again, I hope we do. Another interesting thing, we don't have a provision right now for consumption lounges. And you were talking about hot topics. They're a really hot ticket right now across the country.
Yes.
And I think I'm curious to see what will happen in Oklahoma. I mean, technically, you could go out and open a consumption lounge today. Without a permit, other than something probably, this is not legal advice. But, you get your city permits and you get inspected just like you would if you were opening a shoe store or a restaurant or whatever. But you could do a private consumption club. And I think it's only a matter of time before those start popping up in Oklahoma. And then another big issue, we're Indian country. And so I'm really curious and interested in the tribal aspects. I was in Santa Fe and I was in a dispensary on tribal property out there, and I talked to the guys about how they did it, and it was very fascinating. And I see something like that in Oklahoma's future, probably just because of the nature of our industry and the fact that we are Indian country. Something of which I'm proud. So,
100%. No,
anyway,
it's
very
great.
cool.
Oklahoma is such a diverse and
Yeah.
such a it's a really cool people. Like one thing that I noticed when I was there is kind of that, you know how they talk about Midwest hospitality?
Yeah.
Even though Oklahoma's not in the Midwest, I
No.
really felt like it was the kind of place where people say hi to strangers. You know, it was the kind of place where, you know, if you got a flat tire, somebody coming along is going to come over and help you. It just seemed like that kind of, you know, bootstrap, rugged, from the earth people, but
Yeah.
really nice. And it's cool to see the market has really embraced cannabis, and we don't even know what it's going to be like once you get rec.
So true. I'm glad to hear you say that about Oklahomans.
Yeah.
I do think that they're a lovely set of people.
And good
you know?
barbecue.
Oh,
Way better than
man.
Colorado. We have
I'm
garbage barbecue in Colorado. And Oklahoma, my buddy took me to a spot. It was amazing.
Yeah, we have some great barbecue. We
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, like, are police arresting people for cannabis still in Oklahoma? Or is it kind of, because, you know, there's still people getting arrested for cannabis around the country.
I know.
And even though in some places you have medical, other places you have, you know, it's rec. I mean, so there's still, you know, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people getting arrested. Does it still happen in Oklahoma, you think?
Well, it happens, but not as frequently.
Yeah.
I think it would be more egregious in that regard. You'd have to have some kind of an egregious
Yeah.
offense. Now, this is not news. Everyone's been discussing this. You know, the OBN and the OSBI have been cracking down on illegal grows, which has
Yes.
really needed to happen. And frankly, in my opinion, should have happened 18 months to 2 years ago. If
Yeah.
they had nipped it in the bud, then they would not have proliferated.
So there's a black market in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well,
Holy-
and that's no
holy-
surprise.
Yeah, no,
right?
no. It's just surprising to
It's
me.
everywhere.
I mean,
it's horrible.
when I
but
found out the
yeah.
black market was bigger than the legacy market is
Yeah.
bigger than the actual legal
Or the
market in
illicit
California.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just blows my mind. So I guess I would have to be an idiot to think there's not a legacy market in every state.
I think that's accurate. I do.
Wow.
But now our law enforcement officials are on it.
Yeah.
And we've finally implemented metric, which may not be the best seed to sale. That's debatable, but it's a seed to sale.
Yeah.
And I think that's also going to help catch those illicit market people, and they need to be caught and dealt with and removed. And I think that's clearly going to help all the legitimate businesses
Yeah.
who are my clients. And so anyway, I think that's very important.
So I got to ask you about technology, because we are Cannabis and Tech today. We're here with our
Yes.
partners, Polyscience. We're here with our partners, Summit Research. And if everybody could see around here, you're seeing beakers and lab equipment and chillers. And so I got to ask
Totally
you.
cool.
I know, it's super cool. I feel like I'm in like a Disneyland for like cannabis technology.
Yes.
So what kind of tech are you seeing is helping, and is there any, you know, kind of tech or innovative technology that is, you know, kind of like popping up and helping solve problems?
Sure. Well, I think in the lighting aspect, there are a lot of really cool new lights that are tied into your cell phone
Yeah.
and to other kinds of remote controls so that you can control them from anywhere in the world. I have some clients who have that kind of a system, and it's really remarkable.
Yeah, smart
And-
controls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that, and the same is true with watering. You know,
Mhm.
with your system for watering, that can be controlled remotely, and it's down to such an exact science.
Yes.
If you want to geek out on it.
Yeah.
And tech makes that possible.
Yes.
You know, and there's still, you got to have the human element.
Yes.
But it's very cool, and I think it's especially helpful for those who are not master growers
Yeah.
and really want to learn. It
Yeah.
helps the learning curve. It kind of circumvents the really long process and puts you at least within a margin of error where hopefully you're not going to completely lose your entire crop.
Because you can.
Yeah.
You screw one
yeah.
thing up and you are out.
You are out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
right.
saw Jim
Yeah.
Belushi, like I think he left the lights on one time and all his Captain Jack got burned down, you know, and they went a
Yes.
long ways to get it. So yeah, I guess kind of all the same technology we use in our day-to-day lives.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's a little bit of a crossover into this industry where you're trying to apply smart controls, artificial intelligence, you know, any of that technology that works out there, you're starting to see it. And I mean, look around us, you know, all of
Yes.
these companies around us here at MJ Biz, I see a lot of tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I think drones
Yes.
are going to come into play as well, and AI-driven drones.
Yes.
So, and already are becoming a part of our industry, and it's very cool. The possibilities.
Yeah, it really is. So if our audience wanted to get a hold of you, if they wanted to find out a little bit more about you or potentially do some work with you, what's kind of the best way that they could find you?
I'd say go to my website.
Okay.
And it's SLG Parrish, PARRISH.com, SLGParrishLaw.com. Be sure and put the law in there.
SLGParrishLaw.com.
Yes. And I do a blog. It'll tell you a lot about Oklahoma law. I have a media tab. I've been blessed with some nice media coverage. I have my bio. A lot about the firm, and there's just tons of information there. So, and then of course my contact info and my email, slgparish@slgparishlaw.com. So anyway, that's how they would find me.
Oh, that is incredible. So is there anything you're doing here in Vegas besides MJ Biz?
Oh, I'm hanging out with some friends, maybe having a few cocktails.
Yeah?
Staying out of trouble.
That's right.
But having a great time, and it's great to be here. I feel blessed to be in the industry.
It is so awesome to be able to talk with you. Your story is great. Your expertise is super, super helpful to everybody that's here. It's just really been a pleasure talking with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Have a great show.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cannabis Tech Talks, brought to you by PolyScience and our friends at Summit Research. If you want to, go ahead and hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. We're available on pretty much any place you can find a podcast. And if you're feeling super crazy, go ahead and leave a comment and tell us what you like about this. Thank you very much for our sponsors. We thank you for MJ Biz, PolyScience, Summit Research, and of course, our very first guest in this video series, Sarah Lee Gossett Parrish. And we will see you next time here on Cannabis Tech Talks.
Hey, hello, I'm Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. Wait, you didn't think people would know who I am? Durachill. This is Durachill. This is Durachill. This is Durachill. No, I don't talk like that. You want me to sell this? Buy it. Try Durachill or else. If you want something really nice in your laboratory, buy Durachill. You can't go wrong.